gonna attempt to make Evan a shirt. He needs a shirt really bad. I lost the template that I had made his shirt for last time, so I'm gonna make a new template. So I'm gonna give him a little seam allowance. So I'm gonna measure from about his armpit and down. I should probably do the same thing here. From his armpit and down. And then I want to measure over. So I'd like for it to be, the seam allowance to be a little higher, and then I'll make it to his arm. Same here, make it from here into his arm. Now, is this the correct way? No, this is just the way I am attempting. So we're gonna join those together, and we're gonna join the front and the back piece together. So these two will be joined and the other part will be joined. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna loosely make him a neck piece. So this is where his neck will fit in through the fabric. The fabric I'm using is an old green t-shirt that I had. It's a stretchy fabric. I got it probably a decade ago. I'm gonna use it today on Evan. Hope this helps. This is gonna be attached to the back, I believe. I don't know if this is definitely not the right way to do it, but hopefully this will help you. So these two are where the seam is gonna join. This is where the seam is gonna join, and this is where the seam is going to join. What I wanna do is make it so that there is enough material to attach the sleeve to the shirt. So I'm gonna do that there. So what I want to do is create a little extra right there, so that when we attach the sleeve, it has an area to go around. The sleeve should be 6.5 centimeters. I think that's the size of his sleeve. I want it to kind of fall around this part. So I'm gonna guesstimate. This is gonna be hopefully where it comes to. So this will attach in his in this area. Hopefully the sleeve will fall around his muscle. So I'm just gonna make it just a smidge longer, just to give me a little bit of allowance. So instead of using that, I'll use that. So my template is here for the sleeves, and this for the front and for the back. So I'm gonna cut out 2 of this and 2 of this. I've cut out these 2 things. One of the sides had a little extra piece over here, so I just kind of cut it up. So basically, all these parts are going to be joiners to something else. And this is the joiner to this piece. So essentially, fold it in half and sew around that. So I'm going to cut on the fabric 2 of these and 2 of these. So I did this side, and now I'm going to begin this side. I begin on the outer part like the part that's going to go by the armpit, because I know that this part is going to be seen. So I know that the knot will end up in a spot where it's not out in the open. So what I'm doing is I'm just going very carefully in and out, just to bind the pieces together. So just here and there, in and out. And then what I do is, when I get close to the edge, I start going back the other way. So I go back where I came from, and I just re-sew through. So now this one, I'd like to knot it. So I'm going to come all the way through a little bit, and I'm going to leave that little tiny bit there. And I'm going to pop this back through, and I'm going to kind of stick the needle through and bind it all together. So then what I do is I cut it, and I knot it. Third time's a charm. Then trim that. Right, so that's trimmed. I'm going to trim this little tiny bit just because it's a little long. And so then the next part, what I'm going to do is, like I said with the sleeves, I'm going to match them up along the sides. What I just did was I binded the sleeve to one side. So I'm going to show you how I do it on this side. So I find the middle by taking that loop and sticking the needle through it. So I got the needle through that loop. And I'm gonna then pick the side that I want to work up first, which I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work that way first. Doesn't really matter, you pick whichever way you want. So yeah, that's where I'm going to begin. Now, the piece of fabric is together, like so. So what I did on the other side, I figured this out later, was if I just flipped the fabric over, that I could hold these two together easier. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to take that needle, put it through, and I'm going to just keep going through. Now the string I'm using, don't know where I got it, just have been using it just because it's what I have a lot of. So, in case you're wondering. All the things that I'm using are things that I have around my house that weren't really being put to use. So I'm putting them to use now. Now, it takes a little bit of time if you do this by hand. I haven't gotten comfortable enough to use my sewing machine because I need help threading the needle. I can't figure that whole thing out. It's more of a, I don't have the patience to do it, and I need my husband's help doing that. So that's why I'm doing it by hand. But you can do this on your sewing machine if you have one, if you know how to use it and it's easy for you. I'm just showing you simply what I'm doing. Let's see. It's going. Coming along. Just gotta be careful not to prick yourself with the needle. Thankfully, it's a fabric that you can get through very easily, so you're not, trying to feel for the needle on one side and you're not really trying to push through with your thumb on the other side, so it works out well. So now I've almost come to the end. I'm at the end, and I go through, and I want to just leave a tiny bit of leeway because when we attach it later, that'll come in handy. So what I'm doing is just going to go back through and just kind of reinforce where I sewed. And what I'm going to do is when I get to here, I'm going to go down again and back up again, and then I'm going to do that little loop thing, stick it through and knot it, and then we'll be through with the sleeve. As you can see, I have all these pieces together. So next step is to fold it to make it look like a t-shirt, like so. And then sew up here and up here, here and here. As you can see, I did along here, and now I'm going to do along here. And what I did on this side was I went through the armpit first as it's like a beginner hole, so that I could bind those two together. So that was my method there. And then what I did was I went as best I could to try to close the seam. I went through here, so just strategically kind of went through to kind of close the gap. So just going little by little. Want to make sure that you don't go too close to the edge, because of course you don't want the string to, unravel the fabric that you just cut. So just, take your time and go little by little, and before you know it, you'll have something made. For me, I love tedious work like this, so this is actually very enjoyable and therapeutic for me. So I really, really enjoy sewing, or hand sewing. Will I use a sewing machine eventually? Yes, but for right now, I'm just enjoying my hand sewing. It's not perfect. I never took home economics. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I am enjoying it. It's all that matters, right? Is that you're enjoying what you're doing. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to go through this edge piece, and I'm going to start my journey back. So I'm going to kind of find a spot, pull that fabric through. Oh, there goes my pin cushion. And just kind of keep working back down little by little. And the reason that I do this again is because I feel that it bonds it much better. I could have just stopped going one way, but this kind of gives it a little bit more of a seal for me. So that's why I do it. Here we go. I'm almost through. It hasn't even been that long. Just want to keep making sure that you tug to make sure that you don't have any bunching in your fabric, because this way we'll tend to bunch it up. So now what I could do is I could go back through the armpit, which I'm going to choose that spot, and it's going to come right out here. Of course I pricked my finger a little, but that's okay. And just tug a little. Then I'm going to pick another spot here, and I'm going to make sure that it has, yeah, there it goes. So I just wanted to make sure that it also came out with enough fabric clearance as well. So then what you do is just keep going. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way down and come all the way back up, and then what I'll do is I'll knot this area in the same spot that I knotted the initial knot. Here's the completed top. This is the moment of truth to see if it will actually fit on Ken. So what I do is pushing it out, my fingers. There we go. So that's what the t-shirt looks like. On the outer part, I'll show you what it looks like on him. Here is the shirt on our little Evan, the model. Fits great here, here, fits here. You know, it fits well here and through here. And you know, he can put his arms down and, you know, do his thing. They didn't come up as short as I was hoping, so what I might do in the future is maybe cuff his sleeves up a little bit, but I'm not sure yet. You know, I might just leave them how they are. But yeah, that is my attempt at the t-shirt for Ken. Hope it helps. these jeans came from. I have a video called Ken Jeans, and it's how I made this pair of jeans on Ken. I also used that same technique on Barbie's jeans. And then I have another video out called Barbie Jean Dress, and it basically goes over how to make this exact dress just out of jean material. The only difference is that with this t-shirt material, what I did was I took the collar that I had and I put it over her bust so that she'd have a little something extra on the top of her dress, just to create something more interesting. I used the exact same technique that I used in Barbie Jean Dress video, and I used the same technique on her jeans as I did in Ken Jeans video. So hopefully that's helpful to you, and I hope you all enjoyed watching me make Ken's t-shirt.